Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see everyone this morning. I will explain what's going on from tomorrow in a bit later on, but let us make a start on the business of the day. So today's learning is dedicated in memory of Chaim Yitzchak ben Yutalea, Sima bas Moshe HaKohen, and Baruch ben Aaron. We wish their respective families long life. In addition, we wish long life to those that have passed away during COVID, and we're replacing Kaddish with learning. Leah bas Faivel, Tzivi bas Mordechai, Avram ben David Slavin, Shlom ben Yisrael Morris, Eliezer ben Shmuel Teret, Eliezer Shalom ben Avram Shmuel Beres, Tzipora Fegela bas Ruven, Baruch Shalom ben Elili, ben bas Faivel, from Shoshana bas Yaakov Shmuel. We wish each of their respective families long life. I'm delighted to see so many people that have joined us this morning. We will be stopping all social media from 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. there is going to be a walkout of social media on Twitter, on Facebook. It is a difficult decision, and we'll speak about it a bit later. But first, we've come to learn, so let's learn. So the first Mishnah where we are up to, and we are very quickly running out of Mishnayos. That's how quickly we have progressed and journeyed through Ethics of the Fathers. It's been an absolutely fascinating journey. I've learned so much, and I'm sure you have as well. So it says that there are four types of people that go to the Beis HaMedrash. The Beis HaMedrash is the study hall, and although the Mishnah is referring to the study hall, I think it is all equally applicable to a shul. So a person goes and he doesn't do anything, right? In other words, he attends, but he doesn't actually practice. He doesn't learn, he doesn't daven, whatever it is. So if he's bothered to make the effort to go, says the Mishnah, he'll get reward for the fact that he made the effort, right? We get reward for the effort of going to the Beis HaMedrash, or going to the shul. But obviously, if he doesn't actually do anything when he's there, then he will not get any reward for actually the activity of being there, because he hasn't done anything. So a person who, conversely, who practices but does not attend, so then he gets the reward for the action. In other words, let's say a person davens, but he doesn't come to shul, right? He's very comfortable davening at home during COVID, and therefore he decides, I'm going to stay at home after COVID. So he'll get the reward for the act of davening. Of course, it's not the same as communal prayer, or he'll get the reward for the learning, but the effort, right, which he didn't take, he didn't exert himself by going to a Beis HaMedrash, by going to a shul, therefore he misses out on that, okay? Hoylech v'oiseh is a chosid, somebody who makes the effort to go, right? We all know that there are times where it's difficult for us to get out, to get up, to go to shul, to go to a Beis HaMedrash, to attend a simcha, whatever it may be, right? If a person makes the effort, then he gets and he puts in the effort when he's there to make it a positive, meaningful experience, then he gets the twofold reward. Your reward for the effort of going, and the reward for the actual experience and activity that you did whilst you were there. So be it the learning, or, for example, the davening, right, with a minyan, or, for example, if you went to somewhere else which was meaningful, if you went to a hospital, right, the effort of going to park and driving there and trying to find the reward, you also get rewarded for. It's not just the actual visit itself. Sometimes you can spend more time actually trying to get to the hospital to visit somebody and find the bed, right, and find the right ward, than the actual visit itself. Okay, so that's point number one. Okay, so somebody, Rasha, a person who could go but doesn't go, right, and doesn't daven or doesn't learn, then that person is considered somebody who's not in the good books, right? He's not considered a tzaddik, not considered a chassid at all. Okay, so I think this Mishnah is very, very relevant, friends, to the current situation that we find ourselves in. We, and I include myself in this, and I'm talking more to myself than to you, have become very, very comfortable, acclimatized to the new reality, right? The new reality is that everything goes on in the home. From everything being outside the home, now everything has come home. So, our businesses are at home, our families are all staying at home, our social life is at home, and our Judaism is all at home, which is good and it is bad. It's good because primarily, as Rob Samson Raphael Hirsch has said, and we mentioned it before, the focal point of our lives should be the home. It used to be the home, and then for whatever reason we're not going to go into now, it moved to the shul. Okay, so the point being, in short, that although it had moved, the shul moved to the home, it is now moving back to the shul. And therefore, yes, it is difficult. Nobody finds it comfortable sitting in a room on one's own or in a hall or shul in one's own without having to wear a mask, not being able to sing, not being able to sit next to one's friends, not being able to have a sumptuous kiddush. All these things are hurdles and challenges that we face. But as we just saw in the Mishnah, according to the effort that we put in is the reward. And if we make the effort of going there, we make the effort to be there, and we put in some effort, then we will get reward. And I know that many that came last week found it an exceptionally moving experience, nothing like they'd ever experienced before. It's, I guess it's the way it was after the war or during the war, where people found themselves having bar mitzvahs and davening in the most unusual circumstances and unusual places. To daven in shul now is not like anything we have ever experienced before. You're sitting in a hall which usually holds 500 with around 30 people. But you know what? If that's what the Almighty wants from us, then that's what we've got to do. So that's point number one. Again, that's our first Mishnah. We are going to squeeze in one more before I say a few words about the current situation and the reaction and response to Wiley. Okay, if you don't know who he was, don't worry. I also didn't know who Wiley was until Grimy Wiley until 24 hours ago. Anyways, the next Mishnah. Okay, so Arba Midas B'Yoshvei Lifnei Chachamim. There are 4 types of character traits of those who sit before the sages. Right? There are 4 characteristics when it comes to growing and learning. Sfoig, there is the sponge. I'll say it in English. There is the sponge, there is the funnel, there is the strainer, and there is the sieve. The sponge, right? A sponge soaks up everything, right? Good or bad, the sponge soaks up everything. The funnel absorbs at one end and lets out at the other end. The strainer, which lets out the wine and retains the dregs, and then there's a sieve, and the sieve lets the coarse flour out, right, and retains the choice flour. So the question is, which one do you think we are meant to be in life, right? So the problem with a sponge, it's great. It absorbs everything. But that means it absorbs the good and the bad, right? The stuff which is going to enhance and the stuff which is going to be a detriment to our lives. So therefore, we don't really want to be sponges. The next way is to be a funnel, right? It absorbs at one end and lets out at the other. And the problem with that is, right, is that no sooner, you ever heard this, right? It goes in one end and it goes out the other. Well, there isn't much point in that, okay, because the student hasn't absorbed anything. And therefore it doesn't really move him on because he doesn't integrate anything into his learning. The next one is the mishameres, the strainer, right? It keeps the good parts, it keeps the wine, it lets out the wine and keeps the dregs, okay? Right? So that is the student. It's symbolic of the student who keeps the essential points, who lets out the essential points, which is the wine, and retains the irrelevant points, right? The joke that the teacher said, right? The thing that, the stumble or the mistake, or when things go wrong, they don't actually recall the essential learning. It's the things that go wrong that they pick up on. The next one is the nafa, which is the sieve, which lets out the coarse flour and retains the choice flour, right? Now, clearly, this is something which we would want, right? We're keeping the good, applying it to our lives, right? And the stuff which isn't relevant to us or doesn't help us, we are letting go. So that is the way that we should be. There is so much information that we have and see in our daily lives, and we have to be sieves that sift through and decide what is going to enhance, enrich, and ensure that our lives become better and more improved as a result. That's all I want to say in the Mishnah. Now, I know that we have got a few minutes left, so let me explain to you what's going on. because we are not on social media. We are our community, and I took the decision quite early on. Yesterday night, in fact, it was a decision, but there was still a lot going on. And we've taken the decision we're going to come off social media for 48 hours. There is a campaign to do so, and we are one of the first schools to do so. And the reason why it is important is because there has been a deafening silence in the wake of a rapper called Wiley, who decided to put out and spew his venom in regards to anti-Semitic tweets to his hundreds of or thousands of followers. And therefore, the fact that Twitter didn't and social media didn't shut him down and turned a blind eye for so many hours, which was so damaging, it is something that we cannot allow to go unchecked. And therefore, there is a quote-unquote walkout by organizations, by Jewish people, by non-Jewish people. I'm encouraged by the fact that you may remember I interviewed Pastor Alex Ghiazi a few weeks ago in relation to racism and the racism that the black community have suffered. Well, if you look at his website, you will see today that he has now put a notice up that they are coming off social media. So we are able to see in this current climate our friends from our foes. And I'm encouraged by those that have had the courage to step forward, to step up to the plate and to support the Jewish community. And it's not just our fight, it's a fight against all discrimination, bigotry that we stand up for. But that means that from tomorrow, we will be on Mishna in the morning, will be exclusively on YouTube Live. YouTube Live, okay, you can play catch up. We have our own dedicated station. It's the Woodside Park Shul station, okay? Woodside Park Shul station. We'll put details of that on the website. You can just Google it. You'll find it very easily, Woodside Park Shul, and there you will see the Mishnah Live just the same, okay? But I think it is an important point that we make, and therefore there will be no messages on Facebook for the next 48 hours. It's a difficult decision, and it's not one that we've taken lightly. And many have said, well, what difference does it make? There's millions and millions of people and we're a speck. Yeah, that's true. But we cannot sit on our hands and do nothing. And therefore, we feel that it is important that we make some type of reaction, response. And therefore, we are doing what we are doing. So I hope everyone understands. I know it's an inconvenience that we have to go to YouTube Live instead of Facebook. But if that's the price that we have to pay for 48 hours to make our point to government and to lobby the government, which we have done and which it seems to be having an effect, you'll see the headlines today, then please God will ensure that there are checks and balances put in place for social media, so this type of racist slurs and bigotry, not just against the Jewish community, this is against all communities, it should not be allowed to carry on. Enough said. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even when I walk in the valley of darkness, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forevermore. Memorial prayer. El Malay Rachamim Shaykhin Barmanim Amsim Nachanachana Akam Pesh Vinamalos Kedoshim Materin Kazarki Mazim Es Nishmos Leabas Paivo Tibibas Mordechai Avon Ben David Slavin Shlomo Ben Yisrael Morris Eliezer Ben Shmotert Eliezer Shom Ben Avon Shmot Beres Super Fegelabas Ruven Baruch Shalom Ben Eli Ali Ben Abbas Paivo from Rosh Hashanah Bas Yaakov Shmuel Chaim Yisrael Ben Yuta Leah Simabas Moshe Kaim Baruch Ben Aaron Shalchuli Lamam Began Aiden Taimino Khasam Lachem Balarachamim Yasirim Besisakan of Yolamim Visobas Masamadina Naflasam Yanuka Bishlamish Kavam and Omar Amen. Wish long life to all those that are saying Kaddish or would be saying Kaddish, and all their families. Wish them only strength and simchas in the coming days and months ahead. Lastly, we have the Refuah Shlema prayer. Misha Bech Avasenu Avram Yisrael Yaakov Moshe Aaron David Shlomo Hu Yivach Rabes Achelim Bavu Sha'anu Mispalim Bapuram V'Schazeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachim Aleihem Lachmon Leposam Yishlach Lem Fushlim Nishmaim Lachol Arem V'Soch Shachal Yisrael Refuah Sa'nefesh Refuah Sa'kuf Hashabak Zman Karev V'Namar Amen. Friends, I would encourage you to take the action that we have done, that I have done, and so many others, and that is go silent on Twitter, Facebook for 48 hours. Put the note up, copy it from the JLC, copy the note, which you'll see from on my Facebook page, and put that symbol up, which is that we are having a silent walkout. And I would say that if we do it for 48 hours, it is a protest. It does do something, and I think we will all, please God, be able to have said we've done our bit. We haven't allowed this to go unchecked. I look forward to seeing you tonight on YouTube Live instead of on Facebook, and I'll see you tomorrow morning on YouTube Live as well. Make it count. Please make sure that you make the note on your Facebook pages, and I wish everyone well. And please God, as we approach Tisha B'Av, which represents the sinat chinam, the mindless hatred that was in the world at the time of the temple, we are still suffering from it, but we hope and pray that speedily in our days we are going to see an end to this intolerance, this mindless hatred, and it will be replaced by love and brotherhood and fraternity and peace and kindness between all faiths and all denominations. And in this way, please God, we'll see an end of the exile, peace in our time, and the Geula Shlema, the redemption speedily. Amen. Take care. Have a great day. See you on YouTube Live. All the best.